Hola, ¿qué tal? Aquí José Antonio Gutiérrez. Sean bienvenidos a este nuevo Let's Play de Disco Elysium, justamente en el fuerte. Creo que este ya es el tramo final, así que vamos a ello. Vamos con cuidado. Hay varias cosas. King, ¿tienes algo por decirme?
Yes.
No, nada nuevo. King no es un personaje muy conversador por sí mismo. Quiero llegar allí. ¿Por dónde?
The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast.
Ah, yes, so it seems. For bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies?
As a defensive measure, locking off that side of the bay.
From enemies. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
Ok. Está muy oscuro, ¿eh? Bueno. Oh, hay muchas cosas por aquí. ¿De Masud? Abajo hay algo. Y allá arriba también parece ser.
The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Far away, birds' wings. The flock of quail departs. On the islet, there is almost no wind, like a silent orb of great importance to the few who attend.
Yes? I have. Is that why we're stopping?
The lieutenant nods in silence.
Veamos.
Air flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. A drop of rain falls on a
Veamos si puede
glow
escuchar algo
of an
útil.
extinguished campfire. A jitter. A sound impatient to happen.
Un hitter.
But not yet. It
¿Están fumando
is some
marihuana?
kind of limb fidget. No. It's just your
No, sí estoy escuchando
imagination.
alguna
You
pistola
can't
quizás.
hear a low hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete, the faraway roar of the city. Distant like the raindrops fall on a silent hiss. See,
Allí enfrente parece haber algo. Pero hay que entrar allí, ¿no? Para saber qué es. Hay muchas cosas. Ok. No voy a entrar allí hasta explorarlo todo. ¿Qué, Harry?
I see him. This feels familiar somehow.
Ancien. Milicia Ciudadana de Ravachol. ¿Qué es eso de Ancien?
Insulindian Citizens Militia. It's the official name of the commune.
Sounds an awful lot like.
No.
With its horns in the sky. The symbol of the commune.
After 44 years? That's not nearly in. One of these barrels was still leaking fuel, as you saw. The city is full of things like this. It does. The RCM may descend. It's impossible to say. It was chaos after the war. The name was good for
Nice political thought. A mediocre athlete would pant from dragging around his body on a busted crutch. But not you. You're thinking about
Veamos.
politics with blood dripping down your thigh.
Ancien se parece a CPA. Colaboración Policía Internacional. A ver si lo he entendido. ¿Descendemos del glorioso ejército revolucionario?
There were all sorts of groups and groupuscules back then. It doesn't really matter.
Ok. Está divagando mucho. Pensé que iba a decir algo útil. Autoguardado. Ok. Por acá hay un fuerte. ¿Qué cojones es eso? Dicen que hace fogatas, ¿no? ¿En dónde? ¿Y por dónde está? ¿No puedo pasar por acá? No, solamente hay una entrada. Esa. Solamente parece haber una entrada. Ok, bueno. Pues entremos. Traigo la pistola en la mano. Tú también, Kim, prepárate. No parece haber un camino directo por aquí, así que entremos por acá. Dije, entremos por acá. Cuidado, cuidado. Ah, es por arriba. Maquinaria, una puerta, una palanca. ¿Qué? A ver, ¿qué es eso? Hacia arriba hay algo. ¿Hacia dónde vas? Ah, por acá y a la izquierda. Ok. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Un rifle de... Ok, artillería. Una cama. ¿Está caliente? ¿Está fría?
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles.
Someone has been squatting here.
Ah,
The linen is
ilegalmente.
fresh, recently washed.
You force the rest of the sentence.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest. Yes, anytime.
You don't have
No es por eso. Quería saber hace
Greasy,
cuánto
the
tiempo...
office-
The bed is quite inviting.
No, no, no. No es lo que quería. Además, no está cansado ni herido.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor. Most are soft covers. Serialized, fantastique, popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists. And among what is mostly commercial fiction and serial.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Abstracción heroica. Ah, ¿en serio? ¿Ahora necesito abstracción heroica? Justo cuando me quito lo que no... Ay, bueno, a ver, abstracción. Por eso sí tengo mucho, creo, ¿no? Muchísimo. Enciclopedia. A ver, abstracción. Para tener abstracción... ahora sí me molesta porque es algo que ya pensé que no estaba usando. Este me da más abstracción. Lógica, teatralidad. Ah, no, lo que tienes que me daba teatralidad. Es lo que más tengo. Vaya, vaya. Abstracción, speed the chords. Con eso tengo más 2. Empatía, lógica, sugestión, conectividad, sugestión electroquímica, teatralidad, retórica, autoridad, empatía. Ajá, 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 ajá. Y enciclopedia. Ahí ve lo que me daba mucho de enciclopedia, ¿no? ¿Qué era? Un gorro, creo. Había un gorro que me daba, creo que algo de enciclopedia. El que traigo puesto. No, pero a mí no que me daba más 2. Unos lentes, estos. Bueno, ahí vamos.
Soft covers,
Perfecto.
serialized, fantastique, and detective stories.
No falles.
Adventures. A magazine, oh yes, under the bed. There is a rather extensive collection of critical theory. That is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints, such as Abattoir Firm and Ouzia. It's not exactly like reading.
No afirmativas a la idea de publicar porque hay imprentas y no precisamente lectura ligera. Mira qué poderosa teoría comunista, rigurosa y veraz.
Yeah. I agree. Humanitarian sciences.
Your incendiary remark, wasn't there some in the communist students' room?
Me parece que un estudiante del bloque de apartamentos tenía los libros similares. No me digas que era ese.
Well, yes. That once...
The
Bueno,
little
había muchos por
books
aquí.
seem inconsequential next to the big pile of frivolous entertainment.
Whoever has lived here, they have some...
Interesting.
No me digas que es el estudiante, eso sí sería una sorpresa.
Soft covers.
Así de, me has robado mis cosas, pero ¿qué crees? Entonces, digo que hable... Híjole, ¿a poco el enfrentamiento final va a ser para que dialogue con él de teoría comunista y convencerlo de que me voy a unir a él? ¿Y qué hago con quién? ¿Lo mato? No, ¿cómo crees? A ver, esto me da abstracción pero menos sugestión, entonces necesito lo que me dé lógica. Ahí está. Y... listo. Una camisa. ¿En serio? ¿Una camisa? Espérate, ¿no es la que a este sujeto se le perdió? No, no creo. Coordinación ojo-mano. Sí, sí lo necesito. Perfecto. ¿Cuánto tengo de coordinación ojo-mano? Más 1. ¿Nada más? ¿No tenía otra cosa? Empatía. Mucho mejor. Justo lo que necesitamos. Más 2. Por si tengo que disparar. Por algo tengo una bala. ¿Qué hay aquí? ¿Qué hay acá? Por aquí había algo, ¿recuerdas? Vamos, Kim, por aquí vi algo. Y por aquí hay una salida. Antes de salir vamos a intentar... Dime. No, 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 no.
Yes?
No, tú no. A ver, punteros, punteros. Esto.
Green paint flicks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of...
The console of an antique computation device. There was a generator upstairs with wires coming up. Urgence, ouvert, allumé, radio diffusé.
This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as a radio computer.
Primero voy a examinar el norte. Y luego voy a intentar hacer girar aquí al sur. Una puerta que pesa como 10
You
toneladas.
see a small metal door nested inside.
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable. Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
Yeah, on the console just southeast of here. Remember? Let's look around.
Ah. Es un casillero. Objeto curativo. No me gusta, pero usémoslo. Ahí está. Ahí hay un motor. Aquí hay una consola.
The console is powered off and covered in dust.
Possibly. Urgence, ouvert, allumé.
This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as the dial slides under the glass. Silent.
Insular. This is an off-air radio...
It's an air-gapped system. An off-air military model. It's...
We need to restore power before using this, officer. There was a generator. We should look around outside. There are barrels all over. Maybe one of them still has...
the boat engine. The console looks on as you talk, mute and unpowered. Nothing happens.
Ah, tengo que resolver eso. Bueno, vamos afuera y luego hacia allí. Una rendija para disparar. ¿Disparó desde aquí? ¿Acaso disparó desde aquí? Eso parece ser. Ahí está el motor. Ahí está la puerta. Ahí está el comunista. Había combustible arriba. Eso sí lo recuerdo. No quiero sacárselo al motor. Maldita sea. El barco tiene, pero ¿y luego en qué nos regresamos? ¿A pie?
The skiff is swaying on the waves by the dock.
Se lo puedo sacar al motor, pero ¿y luego? ¿Cómo? Bueno, no, ¿cómo nos regresamos si tiene poco? Y si regresamos a la ciudad y conseguimos más combustible... No puede ser, me van a hacer que regrese aquí. No, no me hagan que regrese a la ciudad, eso va a ser un... Ropa del ejército, un viejo militar. Empatía y menos compostura. Ahí está, mucha empatía. Creo que la voy a necesitar esta vez. Pero...
The console is powered off and covered in dust.
Electrical devices do not work without electricity. We need to power the generator upstairs first.
¿Y con qué? ¿Con qué? ¿Con qué? ¿Con qué? ¿Con qué consigo? Necesito combustible, ¿y en dónde? ¿En serio? Bueno, necesitaría conseguir mucho combustible para ir y venir. No me hagas esto, King. ¿En serio no hay nada? ¿Qué es esto de aquí? Vamos, 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 vamos. Ahí está.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift. The lieutenant puts his hand.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining.
Wait, haven't you heard this before?
¿A dónde llevan esos cables?
Downstairs into the console, then from there into the room's electron. Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout, the kind that's favored by vagrants and fueled.
The lieutenant pauses. Something.
Long and cold.
A hollow ring. The canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and
I don't know.
that is his idea of a joke.
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to...
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint...
King. Necesitamos combustible para hacer funcionar esa puerta. Hacia allá afuera no hay nada.
The heavy metal door stands.
Fuel, generator, console. That's our best chance. That there could open it. What?
Necesitamos combustible, sí o sí. Y el combustible no hay aquí. Bueno, sin un bote no es que pueda salir, ¿verdad? Y no hemos visto... ¿En serio voy a tener que regresar a la isla por combustible? ¿Qué es eso? Tuviste un pensamiento, ¿qué es? Caminando aquí, tuviste un pensamiento, ¿cuál era? Pero no me lo dice. Ahí está. Vamos, Harry. Ah. En otro sitio. No hay mucho. Si no mencionó lo del barco es que le preocupa que luego no tengan para en qué irse. No hay nada. ¿El de tu coche tal vez?
The skiff is swaying on the waves.
Are you sure? There are things we still need to do here.
No me deja irme. A ver, King, ¿qué nos está faltando? ¿Qué es lo que no he visto? ¿Eso de allí? ¿Esta cosa que es que no se puede subir? ¿A dónde, King? No es que no quiera hacerlo, lo que es que no veo... Mira, aquí no me deja avanzar. Ah, ok, estoy un poco atrapado aquí. Estoy un poco atrapado. Ajá. Ya he revisado todo lo que tenía que revisar. La puerta no se abre. Eso ya por ahí es por donde entré. Aquí al generador le hace falta algo. Vamos, King. Dime qué me falta. Por ahí. ¿Qué falta? Dime, King. Ajá, sí se podía bajar. Oh, lo siento. Ese sí fue error de control. Ok, ahí estamos mejor. Ah, imagínense las novelas. Ok. Las aventuras gráficas de Lucas Arts. Que si eran bastante obtusas en ocasiones y te pueden dejar en un callejón sin salida. Ok. Ahí hay algo, una cadena.
A strange feeling, looking at the water, with a bottle in your hand. In the still mirror of the bay, you see Martinez, reflected. Islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water in front of you. Go, perhaps there's someone there. Where it is smelling of maybe, you know it's going to hurt.
Ok. Pensamientos suicidas. Así como vamos, capaz que termina siendo una especie de versión de él. A ver, aquí hay combustible. Ahí está.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab,
El nido del
only
francotirador.
half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double imp,
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
a single-person mattress, modern, civilian use, and an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts. The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Druan, a local blend
Esto ya lo
from
hemos
the
visto.
Southern Islands, or Astra, the legendary cigarette from Grad.
Could be a coincidence. Or, I didn't see any signs of smoking inside though. If people live there, they keep it.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window, quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by any. The springs screech as you lean on the mattress, and a small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by art. The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop.
Do you have a line of sight to the window?
More than that,
A pair of binoculars? Or a scope of a rifle? You'd be prone.
cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like that.
I think we have it, detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper.
Affirmative.
¿Por qué no hemos venido aquí antes?
Why? We don't go everywhere in a 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. That's not procedure.
6 personas han muerto, se podía haber evitado.
Don't beat yourself up, officer.
No importa.
We did not put guns in their hands or get them caught.
The lieutenant pauses.
We will make up for it. Here. Where?
Justo aquí, señala el colchón. ¿Cómo?
He does not answer. Just, he feels.
We should move now.
¿Por qué se siente incómodo? En este colchón, o sea, no va a decir que es el mismo, ¿verdad? No está bajo el colchón, ¿o sí? ¿Por qué me dice que en este colchón? Eso sería absurdo. ¿Abajo de?
There's a rain,
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
a single and an empty can of beer.
Anything?
The springs, a small piece.
No. Sí sospecho que está en la isla. Desde aquí dispararon. ¿Pero por qué dispararon? O sea, sí es el misterio quién es. ¿Qué cosa adquirí? Vamos a ver. ¿Qué cosa tengo ahora? La lata. La lata para hacer funcionar el generador y luego la puerta. Bien.
This old cylindrical generator. The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister out. There's a red starter switch. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old.
That should do it.
Bien. Ahora, ¿qué puedo subir? Retórica, lógica, sugestión. Ya veremos. Tengo un punto por alguna emergencia. Ah,
A dim golden glow and an
It's on. Turn.
automatic boot.
no, no, no.
The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Ok, ok. ¿Por qué estaría ahí adentro? Oh, es un sótano.
A sudden wave of anxiety.
After you. I don't know.
A thin wisp of smoke rises from a charred black fire pit.
Sí, sí, tengo miedo, pero no lo voy a poner así en el juego. En este punto hay que guardar. Y adelante como los de Alicante. A ver qué hay. ¿Qué demonios? No hay mucho. ¿Un descenso? Ok. Otra parte de la isla. Un neumático y nada más. Ahí hay algo. ¿Qué dices? Pequeñas flores blancas florecen a tu alrededor. ¿Así de aquí las trajo? Pequeñas... De aquí las traía y se las llevó a clase. Estaba enamorado de ella. Ya, no creo que sea Rubí. Espérate, ahí está. Un hombre con un rifle. Un hombre viejo con un rifle. Es hora de guardar aquí. Pues allá vamos. Tanto tiempo para llegar a ti.
An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle.
Un hombre viejo además.
He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth,
No puede ser.
then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyes, he's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
¿Es usted el señor del juego?
The what now? I can't hear you. I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around,
Está medio loco.
trying to give up the position.
The position?
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
¿Cerró usted la puerta blindada?
I did. And you opened it. How? I should have burned that console down. The boat engine. On the water.
Bonita arma. No, no, no. Señor, somos policías. He pedido que baje el arma.
The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You are a glorified night watchman. This...
His elbows rest on the frame stock, calmly for now. But he may still get it in his hands. Looks like he knows the weapon.
No. Put it down now.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you quit. It's out of bullets.
Like an amputated limb, he stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness, like
The future.
the present.
El presente.
The present. To be afraid. Cold.
¿Quién es usted?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army. I am a deserter
Un desertor, un
partisan,
partisano.
and a prisoner of war.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Lleva en esta isla 43 años. Es demasiado.
No. I've been on other islands, too. I was an resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
Ha dicho que desertó de su unidad.
I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith.
Un lapso de fe.
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat.
La socioeconomía marxoviana, el comunismo.
And socioeconomics were fallible. For a second,
Wow, está
I
cultivado.
doubted a second, the reaction to take hold.
¿Qué es reacción? A ver.
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men. May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships.
Como
Their
magia oscura.
petroleum, the combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world. Huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew. I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland. In the bunkers underground, airships. I climbed out into hell. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-air,
Some kind of great terror, worse than you've ever seen.
the mask of humanity fall from capital.
Tiene que quitársela para
It
matarlo
has
todo.
to take it off to kill everyone.
Ah, es una crítica al
Everything you
capitalismo.
Oh, and then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest that the bourgeois are not human.
No decir nada, dejarle terminar.
I had to fight it. I had to never stop. How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
¿Qué roba? Nah.
Supplies, vegetables, collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog.
Antes no lo
not
mató
a
una
human
enfermedad.
being.
How is your health, Mr.
I've been throwing up blood since
Tiene
winter.
cáncer.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like
The RCM can provide medical service.
I need to die. You don't have medical facility.
You also have Druamine.
Tenemos duramina y otros analgésicos opiáceos. Debe estar sufriendo.
I have been running out of that stuff.
Esta situación es seria. Precisa un examen médico que nosotros le podemos proporcionar. ¿Cómo lo sobrelleva mentalmente hablando?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years. I don't even know what. Inferno? No wonder. All your minds are rotting from the radio waves. I watch. It's disgusting.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
¿Cómo se ha ocultado todos esos años?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisans.
There were posters.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated, and others too. Some cordons of Revershop at night. I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city,
In the city, you move on a...
from bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just... So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Belmer Graves, right? I know.
So you've been there.
Sleeping. Some nights.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
The propaganda bunker.
Propaganda, but
They stored leaflets there. broadcasting equipment too. Made broadcasting a lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. I do. They're good. Plenty of talk. I like that boy on the pack too. Reminds me of the lab.
The older man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
Entonces, ¿tú un soldado del ejército comunista?
No, I am not a soldier.
Pertenezco al partido,
I'm
no al
an
ejército.
ideological officer. I belong to the party. Not
Okay.
like you belong to the moralist party.
Al partido moralista. Creo que no hay mucho más que decir. Más bien es preguntarle por qué lo mató.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
Sé lo que parece, pero tengo planes secretos para transformar la MSR en una unidad revolucionaria más soviana. Nosotros no somos perritos falderos de la coalición, tan solo intentamos ayudar a la gente. Pues sí, es la verdad.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve.
A spray of blood from his mouth. René, the royalist on the coast, said,
Nunca firmó el documento de rendición rebacholiano.
Only the army. Liberal reactionaries signed it for them. Traitors who should have been burned.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party...
He just wipes the blood from his chin.
Valiente locura. Esa es parte del mal porque ha estado aquí todo este tiempo porque el partido no se rindió. Voy a decir valiente locura. No, con valiente locura.
You're insane. Radio shows, speed racing, sporting goods.
¿Es todo?
None of it
¿Es
is
todo?
real. It's not an island, what? It's a defensive fortification of the commune.
Vaya, ya me dejó sin opciones.
43 years and 10 months.
Va, eso es mantenerse firme.
It's not how a human being should live.
What have you been doing?
Hiding, fish.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people will hurry.
Escalofríos.
Street lights will soon.
Always waiting. For her to return.
¿Quién?
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Será mejor que regrese. Yo también he entregado mi vida a la socioeconomía masoviana. En la historia no hay nada garantizado, pero la revolución sigue siendo una posibilidad.
No. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working
Está muy
class
comunista
has
este obrero
betrayed
porque
mankind.
también hay otros sectores de la sociedad que no está considerando. No menciona a las mujeres, por ejemplo.
The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed.
So that's why he's the deserter.
Desertor una vez, desertor para siempre. No decirlo.
What can I do? There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
Compostura. Lo que no tengo es compostura.
Real music. It's La Revacholière, you shit-licking bougie dog. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites. It is the anthem of the world in Grad, they sang brave children, favorites of history. And in Signal it was... Everyone has. They named a fucking perfume after it. Talk to her. God's shithouse.
All around you, the air slowly circulates the islet, carrying little swallows and black-beaked seagulls in its slow drift. They all keep their distance.
How did it go? Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's
Recoger el
gone
arma
now.
y dársela a Kim.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels still warm from his parched hands. Not the metal. The rifle's in a shabby state. Like on the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burned into the wood. Triangle, 4.46 millimeter.
No one said it has to be a Belmagrave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily...
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition, the right type and the right calibre.
He's liking this.
I wonder how old it is.
The old man does not answer. He, the old man, keeps following your motion with his gaze. Some kind of involuntary... This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him to get a confession. In time.
Compostura. Bien. Lo voy a intentar la compostura después. ¿Es una tirada de habilidad básica? ¿Lo puedo intentar varias veces? Ok, lo intentaremos. ¿Para qué está utilizando el arma?
I've used it.
Here we go. A trail of blood.
Killing people.
It's a gun. That's what they're for. I've used it.
Interesting. During or...
There is no after the war.
La guerra sigue. La guerra de clases nunca terminará. Dios.
So he's continued killing. This is it. You can feel it. Like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. This is what you live. The great syrup. The solution.
Thank you.
Go in straight. No. Be careful. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Sé que quiere contármelo. ¿Ha matado a alguien con esta arma en las últimas par de semanas?
I don't want to tell.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in.
El del escuadrón fascista de la muerte que se tragó una bala. Vamos a ofenderlo.
Oh yes, that one.
Ahí está.
Ugly piece of work, that boy.
A ver.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol.
Exhaust him with proof. The gun. The scent of blood in the air. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
Sí, se me olvida algo. Es la huella.
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dry. There were Maybells in the grass when you got nowhere else. No, wait. Don't forget the footprints. The
Sí, ya
diagonal
sabía.
print. You got it. Remember? Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who
Se supone que la
cares
roba,
what
¿no?
brand?
Show me the soul split.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called Sense. These are not the unusual horizontal patterns, so
The size fits, but not the soul.
Puedo intentarlo, tengo buena teatralidad. Ay, no me falles, es alta.
sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
Además él dice que se la roba.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to...
The lieutenant gives you. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash. More. He's gonna crack. But you need a little more.
Damn, mate. The whole island is...
He seems tender suddenly.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with
South, the Bay of Martinez is
the coast, too, before they pile their
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret path?
I may. Classier,
La conocen, es así, mantuvo relaciones íntimas con la víctima, el mercenario.
with the victim.
almost. But you need one more. Just one. Or maybe two.
I saw you poking around there. Looking for evidence? You damn
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dras. Too long.
I'm ready to die.
He's practically admitting to it. Just one thing remains unclear. The rifle does not seem to have a scope.
Es la ventana con mejor línea de visión, además no tiene obstáculo alguno de por medio. ¿Dónde está la mira? ¿Cómo lo disparo? Ah, sí, vamos a halagarlo.
Forget about your stupid
Ah, ¿él la
fucking
tiene?
He lost it. He just doesn't know where it is. Forget it. Push on.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right.
Leave no stone unturned. Get him on what matters most.
No, esperemos un poquito más.
You're lost, Dwight. You're lost.
Estás perdido. Eso es todo.
I ain't going.
Ok, con postura. Puedo intentarlo varias veces. No pensé que lo iba a usar al fin. Y lo bueno es que tengo varias cosas. Un pantalón. Abstracción, sugestión, electroquímica. A ver si me da el tiempo, sí. Sugestión, teatralidad, lógica, umbral de dolor, reacción, forma física, mundo interior, electroquímica, compostura. Y con él me hubiera servido más la autoridad, pero bueno. Compostura, 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 compostura. Conectividad, percepción, compostura. No, pero está horrible. Electroquímica, umbral de dolor, instinto, reacción. Patriotismo rebacholiano. ¿Me servirá esa cosa con él? Tal vez. Después lo probaré. Teatralidad, escalofríos, forma física, compostura. Comunista. Veamos si con esto lo logramos. Vaya, qué equipo tan curioso.
Wow, this jacket makes you feel strong. As if your blood is mixing with that of the...
No pretendo usar una chaqueta nacionalista. ¿Mezclando mi sangre está mezclarse o está bien como está?
Apologies, you're right. It's
Es
time.
la primera vez que me lo pongo.
This hat is so soft, so warm. It wraps around your head. Kraz Mazov would have worn this, Yishen. Glory to the revolution.
Ok, veamos si con esto puedo...
Minions of capital.
Indumentaria revolucionaria de invierno. Ok, el gorro no me sirve de mucho, pero puedo intentarlo una vez y luego subir en compostura y intentarlo otra vez. Vamos a intentarlo una vez. Venga.
For a 60-year-old man with stomach trouble, who spent his entire life alone he's prone to erratic hand gestures and clearly malnourished. But that's it. You can see no more by looking at his...
Ok, compostura. Ni siquiera tengo que subir habilidades. Me he dedicado pocos. Listo. Vamos a ver si me lo permite otra vez.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
Vamos a intentarlo. ¿Seguro? Sí. Si fallar dos veces ya sería una patada en el trasero.
Aside from the rare, erratic hand gesture, smacking his lips and despondently staring in...
Ok, no sirvió, no fue suficiente. Me quito esto. Me voy a quitar esto. Me voy a quitar esto. Empatía, compostura. Ah, tenía algo que me quitaba compostura. Qué horror. Dios, estás desnudo, Harry. Te ves terrible. Vamos a dejarnos el gorrito. No, el gorrito no. Autoridad. Vamos a subirle la autoridad. Retórica. Hay que convencerlo, con él no es empatía, es convencerlo. Electroquímica, Compostura, percepción. Sí, la compostura, ¿verdad? Sí, me ha faltado un punto. Podría haberlo intentado si me hubiera quitado esa ropa. Lógica. ¿Qué es lo que tengo puesto? Más retórica. Ok. Abstracción. Speed of course, escalofríos. Ponte unos pantalones, joder. Tenía varias cosas que me quitaban compostura entonces, sí. Empatía, lógica. ¿No puedo subir otro punto de compostura? Tal vez.
Minions of capital.
En la siguiente tal
What do
vez.
you want, petty boy?
A drop of blood. Tear into him again. Pile it on him.
You lost what? You lost, petty.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Tear into him again.
Not a lot of guns around that...
It's a real gun. Not like you look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real?
Damn, he saw you. He would have a good view of the tribunal from... So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let
Deja de
it
marear la
bother you.
perdiz, tenemos el arma vencida. Salvamos a muchos. Titus, su líder, mantuvimos la situación bajo control. Vamos a darle sobre esa línea. Quizás nada más me tire. No.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
Pregunta, ¿crees que tenemos el arma homicida? Yo lo determinaré. Tenemos el arma homicida.
.46 jacketed ammunition. Modified. Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Saying things that...
Murder. You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
Era un asesino, pero aún así sigue estando. Él también era un soldado, un hombre.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so... got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One
The lieutenant raises his while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death. Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. And so...
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to...
Yes.
And you were looking at them? The victim and a young woman having sex?
The old man.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This you can coax it out of him.
I don't understand. Do you, detective?
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope?
A rifle scope has...
And if you don't...
Click.
Yes.
He will not stop now. You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Compostura. Puedo subir otro punto de compostura. Y ahora sí. Uf. Y ahora sí ponerme un equipo que me suba bien la compostura. ¿Tengo algo que me quite compostura? Ni siquiera sé para qué quiero aumentarlo, pero bueno. Instinto, mundo interior, nada que me quite compostura. Compostura, retórica, empatía. Ok, todo en orden. A ver, algo que me dé más compostura. Primero, esta cosa, la ropa rebacholiana. Compostura. Lógica, percepción, empatía, compostura no. Ajá. Electroquímica, había unos pantalones, compostura. Excelente. ¿Algo más? Creo que es todo. Camisas. Lógica, umbral del dolor. Coordinación ojo-mano, electroquímica, mundo interior, lógica, teatralidad, empatía, lógica, savoir-faire, abstracción, electroquímica, sugestión. No, está horrible. Bueno, me da el punto que me hace falta, pero... Compostura, no. Reacción, umbral de dolor, teatralidad. Con eso es suficiente, creo yo. Tengo objetos. Ah, el rifle, lo puedo examinar, ¿verdad? Que no, joder. Ahí está. Se puede vender. Ay, pero necesito como evidencia, no inventes.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
No. Todavía puedo subirlo un poquito más. A ver. Hay una ropa que me da compostura en lugar de eso. Es esta. Vaya, todo está un poco bajo. No puede ser que esté batallando con una tirada.
Minions of capital.
Ahí está. Y si no, le hacemos un punto más. Dámelo.
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. It's precisely what... Indeed. He speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid. It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. You've seen demented people before. Is this some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly on.
No. I won't be...
You said you take painkillers.
I take them to cope with pain. The people of this city use...
Are you sure about him being lucid? It's not a downer, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
I don't know what that is. Like some kind of decadent rock star. No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again. Erratic hand motion. Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled.
Ok, lo hemos logrado. ¿Qué es lo que- creo que me tengo que cambiar la ropa por algo más neutral ahora. Pues es que ya que autoridad, vamos a poner el traje de policía que tanto le gusta. El detective está bien. Retórica no, ponte algo más físico. Y ya estamos. ¿Gafas? No creo que necesita gafas. Con eso está bien. Este me da más reacción y menos retórica. ¿Cuánto tengo de retórica? Ahí no mucha. ¿Y reacción? Quítatelo, no me gusta que me quite retórica. Ahí estamos.
Minions of capital. What do you want? Them fucking...
No me gusta... ¿Por
I
qué?
didn't like that.
Estaba celoso. Es eso, no puede ser.
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know that's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head.
He wants to see her, to punish her.
Vamos a criticarlo.
There's...
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stone.
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there.
¿Ha habido otras?
It's weakness, I know.
Debe haber otras. Una cosa más sobre esta mujer.
Woman.
And inexplicably, it doesn't go with his pain.
Quería
voice.
castigarle a ella, así que lo mató.
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the fell,
Past the fell building on the coast.
hiding something in the water. She had a fag out.
And beautiful.
Y era toda una belleza.
That, too.
How could you see what she looked like?
The sun came up. Her hair was like cobwebs. She smoked more
Celos.
fags.
Por eso decía que lo mató el amor, pero qué clase de amor retorcido.
Her passport, and
In the free state of Seminine, hidden...
after she was gone,
Did you keep what was in it?
no. Why would I do that? I didn't need...
This implies, also, a little inconsistency here. He was surprised to hear her name Clausia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
It didn't say Clausia in there.
Ah, entonces lo sabía.
It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. Why would I need that trash?
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time.
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run.
You could tell she was a spook?
She had different color hair on the photo. And glasses. Oh,
He's setting it, the bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
you can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
Ahí está, lo tengo.
It quickly comes to
La seguía por atrás del apartamento.
Mm-hmm. Bending like a bow against the glass. I've been through all her matinees. Yes, that too. The things... You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking at you.
Those two took the... You hear the familiar scribble.
How did you get in there?
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you,
You had to open the steel door?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there.
Andy found use for it. A spare key.
One more thing. The flowers.
What about...
There. He's already admitted to it. Just ask.
I did. I shouldn't have. It was a mistake. I was there one night, and she was crying. Like a child. The day after I killed... Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
Buscaba consolarla.
Maybe... I told you.
A sudden pang.
If you came 10 years ago...
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes. Then,
She practically breastfed that man.
while he stands here and rots,
Celos. Dios. Se merecía un buen castigo. No. Yo no soy así. Yo no pienso de esa forma. Los hombres están locos. No, simplemente voy a decir eso. No soy así. Yo no pienso de esa forma. Mientras él está aquí pudriéndose. Los hombres están locos.
No one gives a shit what you think.
En el canal 8.
You and your her.
the lieutenant nods at you.
Where is she? That Clausia. I haven't seen her there for days.
No, él dice que no estoy en disposición de decirlo. No, hay que mentir. La arrestamos. No estoy en disposición de decirlo. Vamos a decir que la arrestamos.
Locked up with your masters, like I'll be. Maybe we'll meet, staring at the island. The fort.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lusan's Central Aerodrome. On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from an amphitheater. Smaller, distant, hidden. Not like he knew she knows. She was looking at the island.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done?
Wow, todo eso, hay que preguntarle más.
You could get more out of him. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and
Pues no hay mucho más que podamos preguntarle, pero ahí vamos.
A tragic comedy.
A strange little engine seems to... The familiar put, put, put of hatred.
Specifically, the whole city is a
Mosario.
charnel. Stripped clean, and because of the racists, everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Right, yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social. Intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lip. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals...
René.
Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon or Quayamora. That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain. We did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until...
The disco whores are too much. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people.
Oh, todo eso quieres saber. A ver. Veamos, ¿qué nos puede decir? Se refiere a René, no lo habrá matado, ¿verdad?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. What is there to be agitated about? The unholy ghoul? I love it there. It reminds me of everything we fought for.
Me interesa lo del sindicato, no tanto lo de la estatua.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the
Disappointment. So personal. He displayed
that deformed toad. I wouldn't expect him to want
Edgar.
A Edgar.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart first against the wall with him.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all...
Of course. Mate, don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Softening.
¿Ha contactado con ellos?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid.
Oh, esto es bueno.
How did he know you were...
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island.
Ebra le encargó.
He has stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I was right about one of those things.
¿Cuándo fue eso?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk.
That's around the time the Clares came to power.
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I would a fossil. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
You know why I killed that fucker, Duat.
No volverá a hacer nada por ese canalla.
Again?
Try teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics.
Okay, he didn't do the hang the man for them. But he's insinuating something.
Oh. Lógica legendaria. Habilidad crítica solo una vez. Puedo volver a intentarlo, ¿no? Sí puedo. Oh, melómanos. Los músicos. No sé si tenga algo que decirme de ellos.
Horse.
Es todo. La estatua.
Syphilis is a disease Philippe III contracted in a whorehouse. The bacteria entered his brain and
Es un
made him
virus, pero
spawn
bueno.
up trillions on.
That is,
No, no es un virus porque si no se curaría
although
con
Philippe III
con
was not
antibióticos.
actually syphilitic.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it?
¿Sabe por qué?
Still there. Do you know why?
Porque el rey es sagrado y sus estatutos son indestructibles, pero con sentido irónico. Porque la publicidad cínica de los pijos redirigió una versión deconstruida de las mismas. Esa me gusta.
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical art is a bourgeois
Una institución
establishment.
burguesa.
It's an affront to humanity.
Wait, the bullet hole in Philippe's heart. It had to be. He's already proven capable of taking a far...
I did. A needless, sentimental gesture. I should have spared the...
Yes, shameful. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right, detective?
The fat union man let them put it there. Corrupt as he is.
Es
Probably
crítica.
got a fat check
Voy a intentarlo
for it,
después.
too. Glad. It's all gone.
Oh, sí puedo. ¿Qué es? Con lógica, ¿verdad? No, 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 no.
His lip curls
Sí,
into a
lógica.
snare at the memory.
Oh,
Glad.
vamos,
It's all
vamos.
gone.
Lógica. Pues vamos a subirlo. Es punto crítico. Tengo mucha lógica. Subir nivel. Y todo lo de lógica que se le pueda subir. Por eso tengo el gorro espantoso. El traje de detective. Creo que nada más. Hay una que me da lógica, ¿no? Matemática. Una camisa. No sé si la traigo puesta. O hasta unos lentes tengo que dan lógica. Es un tanto absurdo, pero bueno, ahí está. No enciclopedia, lógica. Bien. Si con todo esto no lo logro en la primera, sería el colmo.
Stares, his lip curls into a snare.
Ahí está, para no fallar. Vénganos.
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water.
Ajá.
Cold water.
Venga, sí, ¿y luego? Ah, ya. Solamente hay una opción.
He acknowledges it. Here,
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a
bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him, tempered by something familiar.
Ah, a lo mejor había otras
A
mujeres.
familiar rage.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had up called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away.
No, that's
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not...
No, I guess it was not.
Edgar hizo que realizara la llamada. ¿Por qué razón, señor Gross?
She couldn't make the call
here it is. The Ben.
because she was dead.
¿Cómo sucedió?
Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit, and she was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often, heading home to Grand Coron or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her
¿Le disparaste?
and the ruins.
¿Fue usted?
It was someone, or maybe she just fell. I get these violent ideas.
Another big spike of rage.
Nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony.
Edgar didn't keep his... If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, we would strike everything you've done and
Wow.
prosecute you as a POW. You were in a war.
¿Tanto le
You were
interesa
assigned.
hundir Ebrar?
We could even extradite you to the Samaran people.
A degenerate worker state. Goat shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell.
No testificaré
Will not
nada.
testify
Muy bien, pero
to
yo lo sé.
anything.
Pero lo hizo.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked.
The same old freezing hatred.
Glad. It's all gone.
Pues ya solamente queda detenerlo, pero vamos a dejarlo para una siguiente sesión porque se aproxima mi hora de cierre. Vamos a cambiarnos la ropa nada más para ese momento. Vamos a ponernos nuestra ropa policíaca y a darle. Arriando que es gerundio. No entiendo ese dicho, solamente me llama la atención. Bueno, como un verdadero policía. ¿Dónde está? ¿Detective? Sí, como un detective. Sin lentes, creo que los lentes son demasiado. Empatía y coordinación ojo-mano. Forma física. Quítale la linterna, como que no la... No, la linterna, no la necesita. Ya tenía yo una buena ropa para esto. Pues bueno, ya estamos a punto de cerrar. Vamos a dejarlo aquí para cerrar así el episodio con lo que haga falta. Si es necesario los créditos. Pues sí, no teníamos mucha manera de llegar a él, salvo que hubiéramos quebrado a Claire, pero este viejo lo conocía desde 20 años. ¿Cómo saber que seguía aquí? O los niños, pero bueno, ni modo. Todo está guardado. Bueno, mi nombre es José Antonio Gutiérrez, lo dejamos aquí. Y creo que ahora sí el siguiente episodio será el final de Disco Elysium. Hasta pronto.